Welcome to CIC. I'm Dennis Hollingsworth. Last night I went to the Gregoris Semitecolo exhibition at Ramiken Gallery in Lower East Side, New York. The rediscovery trend is old, maybe 20 years or more, and despite forecasts that the trend is subsiding, I'll cite a 2017 article in ArtNet entitled, "The Rediscovery Backlash: Has the Market for Overlooked Art Historical Talent Peaked?" But I remember recent commentaries by friends and in the press about the recent surge of interest in overlooked artists, both in the art fairs and here in the city. Similar to the recent James Bishop exhibition at Timothy Taylor Gallery, Ramiken is also engaged in a rediscovery project. Ramiken Gallery seems to be operating in tandem with Seaview Gallery in Los Angeles. They're both engaged in rediscovering Gregoris Semitecolo. Semitecolo is a celebrated Greek artist whose works are in the collections of the National Gallery of Greece and the Municipal Art Gallery in Athens. He established his career as a multimedia and performance artist, collaborating with composer Ioannis Christou in works politically inflected, but eventually he became disenchanted with politics, a bruised idealism. I'll quote from a little snippet I found, supposedly quoting from him. "I have the feeling that today we live in a mishmash, without political words by any of the parties. The left does not exist anymore. I don't count on it at all. The only thing that remains is having loved ones that you can have a real conversations and a true contact with, to be able to breathe. I feel I've come home to find it demolished, and I have nowhere to go." Apparently, he found solace in painting. From what I can see in the Ramiken show and online through the Seaview's website, he started painting in 1984 when he was 49 years old, painting for 30 years until his death in 2014. As I went through the show, I took a number of notes, and so I'll read them and show you the paintings. New York City through an East Mediterranean filter. Sunset, the end of the day, the end of the modern day. There are many words for twilight, but the one I think applies best to this is gloaming. That light before a complete darkness of night falls upon. And look, we have tax. Tax applied in 1992, which personally I found notable because when I first went to art school and I brought some of my paintings I was doing, I got a bit of pushback from my instructors who felt that tacks were old school and I should be using staples. So I thought it was funny to see the tacks here in this show. But remember, this is the 1990s. And the colors. This brown that saturates every canvas. It's all very completely painted from edge to edge in the canvas. The whole show is so homogeneous. The brushwork, everything blended. Every individual brushstroke sort of blended out. Evenness of finish. Sepias, violets, oranges, umbers. And then the many associations that came to my mind. Painting like De Chirico in the 1990s. And then, do I see Mark de Suvero? Or even Michael Heiser? Then I'm reminded of Louis Kahn's Chandigarh. And in these works, they're remarkable because it's a dream vision, borrowing much from early surrealism. And again, in the 90s. He was definitely his own guy, just doing what he wanted to do and damn everyone else. He was painting fusions of past and future, fusions with sci-fi energy overtones. And I started to think of the orange dystopian skies that were in the scenes of the movie Soylent Green with Charlton Heston. These are entire worlds constructed. Even the horizon line is a shaped horizon, a shaped object. And then the objects in the painting, the ziggurats, the minarets, spires, the domes. And then looking at the offerings at Ramiken, it's tempting to say that from the beginning of the decade of the 90s to the early aughts, and I'm just dating, arranging each of the paintings together in a kind of timeline, the point of view is elevated, as if the viewer is ascending, but cross-indexing with the works at sea view. This might not be so. But from the offerings that we see at the exhibition, these paintings were picked to appeal to a New York audience. Because looking at them, all I see is the New York skyline.